Today, the Senate debated the Telecommunications Acquisition Settlement Bill 2015. The bill was first debated by the House of Representatives yesterday, and today, in Belmopan, the senators expressed their opinions on the bill. As we reported, Prime Minister Dean Barrow introduced this bill after he announced that the government of Belize had brokered a deal and settled with Lord Michael Ashcroft, the BTL Employee Trust, and Dunkeld International Limited in regards to the acquisition of Belize Telemedia Limited. Lead opposition Senator Lisa Schumann expressed her views on the bill.
The execution, delivery, and performance of this deed, 3, does not contravene the Constitution or any law, rule, regulation, treaty, regulated practice, procedure, or policy, or any of its duties or obligations, any material indenture, mortgage, trust deed, bond, or other agreement, blah, 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 so on and so forth, everything you could imagine on the kitchen sink. Why? Because it is going to force the government of Belize, even if it is found that this is illegal by any court of law, to still have to rely upon the warranty, and they will make sure that by hook or by crook, everything that they are demanding, their pound of flesh and the blood along with it, is going to be made good under this settlement deed. Again, the assurances that it has taken all action required by law, regulation, or policy to authorize the execution. Well, we don't know what that was because the Prime Minister took that decision on his own. Also, it states that the undersigned party has been authorized to execute this deed. Again, there are clauses here that have to deal with notices, and the notices, again, will go marked, "Attention Minister of Finance," with copies to Attorney at Law, Mr. Dennis Barrow, Senior Counsel of Barrow & Company, LLP, and by email at brotherbarrow@yahoo.com. The violation that is being done to the laws and the constitutional norm, almost no bounds at all in the forcing through of this settlement deed and in the requirement by the Minister of Finance that members of Parliament pass this repugnant document without consultation to anyone.
Senator representing the private sector, Mark Lizarraga, says that Prime Minister Dean Barrow had to obtain permission in order to sign the settlement deeds.
Mr. President, I am no attorney, but I wonder how the Prime Minister, with no approval, consent, could sign what is called a settlement deed on the 11th of September on his own, an agreement that binds the government under conditions precedent that the government shall introduce into the House of Representatives certain legislation. And this legislation seeks to authorize the government in subsection 3A1 to enter into this deed. You've already entered into the deed. Shouldn't you have gotten permission before? In a democracy? In effect, what the Prime Minister is doing is coming to government and saying, you will approve this deed because I have already signed it and I have already committed. Okay? But it doesn't seek to bind the hands of government. It seeks to bind the hand of the Governor General as well, saying that the Governor General shall sign and it shall be published in the Gazette by the 18th of September. But it doesn't stop there. It says that by the 18th of September as well, the Attorney General shall issue an opinion to the bank, entitling the bank to rely upon such an opinion, confirming that this deed and the obligations herein are valid, binding, and enforceable obligations by the government. Shouldn't this have been done before this thing was signed?
Government representatives Senator Godwin Hulse told his fellow colleagues that he is satisfied that a settlement has finally been arrived at.
Mr. President, I will say simply this. That it's not perhaps, or maybe it is. I too, am troubled about the element of uncertainty. I think everybody would be. I heard the senator talking about it, and I hope it comes in our favor, or better yet. But I am satisfied of two things. We're finally coming to a conclusion of this thing, but I am more satisfied, Mr. President, of one thing that sticks out. Regardless of who shout, regardless of who clap, regardless of who criticize, regardless of who condemn, it has all been put in the face of the public so they could talk about the Barrow brother, they could talk about the arrogance of the Prime Minister and everything. And these two settlement deeds, the first, which was signed by the Honorable Prime Minister at the time on behalf of the government, had a serious confidentiality clause that said, and I will just read that and I will sit down, because it said in this clause, which I thought was something that no sovereign government should ever put in a clause. It says, the parties here to agree that the terms of this agreement and all information gathered to comply with the terms and conditions of the agreement shall be and remain strictly confidential to the parties, their financiers, and any other persons agreed by the parties in writing. And that, Mr. President, was signed by the Honorable Said Musa. And these deeds were witnessed by the Honorable Said Musa, signed by him and witnessed by the Honorable Francis Fonseca. And so, as far as I am concerned, Mr. President, talk about secret deals, talk about secret deeds, talk about those things.